Hello people, we are Tottenham TV. Another international break done and dusted, and time to concentrate on Tottenham once again. Aston Villa at home in the Premier League.
Start of 7 games in 22 days.
Unbelievable. So we got our work cut out for us as much as the team, really. So
who's worked harder? Us or the team?
I'm very much looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to these next 7 games in 22, and then another international break comes around pretty soon after that. But yeah, we got a lot to get through on this stream. We're going to be looking at Maddison's unbelievable start of recovery video from his ACL a bit later on the stream. But without further ado, let's get into a Tottenham update to kick us off today. And we're going to start off talking about the team news that Thomas Frank delivered in the press conference. And he said Kolo Muani trained with the team for 2 weeks now. He's looking better and better and is in contention for the weekend. So brilliant news on Kolo.
Yeah, and it's almost like he's kind of, no one's really talked about him because he's come in, he had 10 minutes against Villarreal, got injured with that dead leg. He's been out for 3 weeks, so he's kind of been the forgotten man. But I believe he's a player who's can make a big impact in this team, and is someone who we don't really have the qualities in the other strikers with someone like him. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the team, but he hasn't trained much with the team like altogether. It's going to take a bit of time, so I'm not expecting him to start this weekend or anytime soon, but I can't wait for him to get up to speed.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a case of like getting him minutes off the bench, getting him up to speed, getting him match fit. And once he gets to that, the match fitness which is required, then I think you'll probably start seeing him start some games. But I'm hoping he can make an impact off the bench at least at some point. Next up, regarding Dominic Solanke, he said Dom's progressed well post-surgery and is moving forward. He looks better and better. When he first came, he still needs to get to that higher level. That's not to say he can't play a part tomorrow, but he needs time to get back up there. And he's not talking about the game because the game's not tomorrow, it's training.
I watched the press conference. I think that quote has been misattributed to Solanke. I think he's talking about Muani.
I see.
When I watched it, so I don't know why people think he's talking about Solanke with that
okay.
quote. But what worrying thing about Solanke was he was asked, is he going to play before the next international break? And he wouldn't confirm whether he would or not. So doesn't sound like he's confident. He said he's taking everything day by day, week by week with Dom. He's training alone. Obviously, it wasn't long ago we saw him back on the grass, and then he had a relapse in the head to have surgery, and now we're where we are with him. So let's just hope he's back as soon as possible. I think he's also a massive player for us, and goes under the radar how much he kind of improved us when he was playing last season. You got to remember, in the run in our Europa League run, obviously he had that injury in January, and he came back and I thought, was scoring goals last season in the back end. I think you got to remember he went on a little run back in the last season. I think 5 goals in the last 8 games, so he was like in good form. But obviously these injuries, for some reason, he's come to Tottenham and he's been riddled with injuries when he was absolutely injury free beforehand. So it's been gutting, but let's hope he's back as soon as possible. Do you think we'll see him before the next international break?
I have no clue. I have literally no clue. I really hope so, because I think he's a player at the start of the season that we've missed a lot, to be honest. I think Richarlison obviously has done well in parts. In a few games he's done really well. But in the last couple of games he's really flattered to deceive, and Tell's got his chance. He took it well last week. But I just feel like Dom Solanke just adds a bit more than what Richarlison does in that number 9 position. So I think we've missed him quite a bit at the start of the season. So look, we've got Muani coming back, so hopefully he can add something extra as well. But we just need everyone available, don't we?
I think Solanke offers you a bare minimum, whereas like Richarlison, when he's bad, he's almost like anonymous. Whereas if Solanke's bad, it's like his finishing is off and stuff. But most games he's still going to offer you that strength off the ball, that pressing, all that kind of stuff.
The reality is there with Dom Solanke, whenever he's playing, you notice him. You notice he's there. He's always, fighting so hard for the team. Even if he's playing bad, he's always tiring out defenders, isn't he? Where Richarlison, like you say, he goes a bit missing sometimes, and sometimes you don't even notice he's there. So, we need Dom Solanke back. And last but not least, he's talked about Bissouma, and he said Bis unfortunately picked up a ligament issue with the national team and will be out for a few weeks. And we all saw that clip. We spoke about it on our international roundup. He came on and within a minute, a big clattering challenge in the back of him, and it didn't look good. He had to be stretchered off. He's saying a few weeks, but looking at that injury, it seemed like a bit longer than a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll see. If it's more serious, it could be more serious than that, but obviously it's not long till January. I don't know if he's eyeing up a move when that window opens, or if anyone's going to be interested if he's got a serious injury. But yeah, gutting for him. Massive shame. Obviously, probably unlikely to feature anyway for us, given the level of midfielders we have, and he's out of favour at the moment. But just for him personally, considering how things have gone over the last few months, to pick up another serious injury just off the back of returning from an injury has got to be a bit of pill to swallow.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, that is the team news going into the game. So apart from that, I think we got a clean bill of health. Actually, I don't think he's going to be in contention to play the game, but Radu Drausen's back fit.
Yeah, he didn't mention him. Obviously, he's been training for the last few weeks with the team on the grass, so it's just about picking a moment now, isn't it? I think he said himself, didn't he? I'm ready. I feel ready, but it's about just picking that right moment to reintroduce him.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see him anytime soon, but it's good that
I reckon
he's back training.
I reckon it could be before the next international break.
Maybe. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We'll see.
He said it could be another 2 weeks, it could be a month, but I reckon if he's feeling fit, I reckon it won't be too long.
He's been feeling fit for the last 2 weeks, though, hasn't he?
Right, exactly. So that's why it won't be too long.
I don't know who he's going to play instead of, though.
From that point of view, yeah, but I'm not saying he'll start, but I reckon we'll start seeing him get minutes, be on the bench, I reckon, in the near future. I'm not saying this weekend, but I reckon before the next international break.
We'll see about that. Next up, Football Italia says that Fabio Paratici still has plans to bring back Leonardo Gabbanini back to Tottenham, and those conversations are ongoing. Gabbanini has continued working with Paratici as a consultant as for other clubs in Italy. So basically, Paratici has been a consultant for us, and Gabbanini has been a consultant for Paratici all this time. But yeah, Paratici was the one that brought in Gabbanini when he first came. I think it was in 2022. And obviously, I don't know what happened, why Gabbanini lost his job, or did he leave, or did the club sack? I don't know what happened.
He stands in solidarity with Don Fabio.
I see. Was that when Don Fabio got his ban, and then he left as well? I don't know the actual situation, but you know, a lot of fans hold Gabbanini in quite high regard. I think, you know, the players that he scouted once or when he came to the club, and the players that are still in our first team 11 now, just shows what a good job they did do. Yeah,
and I think he's clearly got an eye for a player, and he's very, very talented. So if he's coming back under the stewardship of Don Fabio, I think they work well together. So
the dream team, they're calling it.
Getting the Italians back together.
Yeah, exactly. Getting the band back together. So we'll watch this space on Gabbanini. We'll watch this space on Gabbanini. I wouldn't be surprised if he does return to the club as like a head scout or something like that. But there was a fan forum last night with, I think so, Kuti was there, Ben Davis was there, Frank was there, Vinay was there, and Johan Lang was there,
and as well the Beth England,
and the Martin Ho, the manager of the women's team, and also Don Fabio was there, but he wasn't on the panel. He was just
hovering
sitting
around, always watching.
He was sitting in the front row with his earpiece in, and
on the phone. He was got a phone.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of interesting stuff coming. When they announce and when they release the official video, we'll bring it to you and we'll react to it. But one quote I wanted to bring to you guys today was on Harry Kane and Ivan Toney. And he says, let's put it this way. They're two very, very good players, both of them. Harry Kane is a legend. I said it in the press conference the other day. If he wants to come back, he's more than welcome. And then he said, of course, Ivan Toney I coached for a few years. Top player, top guy, very good striker. Let's see what happens in the future. Leaving the door open to both.
Not saying no, is he? Obviously, he's repeating what he said before about Harry Kane. And we know that if anyone gets a chance to get Harry Kane back at this club or have Harry Kane in your team, you jump at the chance, you grab it with both hands, won't you? So you're never going to shut the door to that one. When it comes to Toney, obviously he's talking about a former player of his, and he seems like the type of guy who's always going to speak highly of players he's coached before. And look, who knows if it's a realistic option, if he's ever even thinking about coming back right now. But you never say never. If our strikers aren't doing it, and he's an option, I wouldn't be surprised if we return to him.
Yeah, I think Toney, look, he's earned his money now. You know what I mean? It's time to come home. It's time
home. He's Tottenham
to England. To England. England is home. He's English, but and also home to a manager which got the best out of him. I would love to see Ivan Toney at Spurs. I think he's a really good level striker. I think he is better. I can't say about Muani, but I'm talking about Solanke and Richarlison. I think he is a higher level striker than those two. But well, look, like Frank says, we'll have to wait and see what happens in the future. It's interesting though that most managers, when talking about players at other clubs, they're just like, I don't like to comment at players at other clubs. But Frank doesn't seem to be too bothered about that.
Yeah, he's willing to. Look, he's a player coach before, so he has that relationship, doesn't he? But look, we'll see. I don't think it's going to happen in January. You never know. Look, football's a game that moves fast. If maybe Solanke and Muani just haven't scored a goal, or for Richarlison as well, and they're really struggling, and we're like, okay, we just need to get someone who's going to put the ball in the net, and maybe we turn to Toney on a short-term loan deal, or something happens. Maybe Richarlison gets a big move to Orlando in Jan, and we're looking at a striker. You never know what happens in football. I find it hard to believe, though, in the next few months, something that drastic is going to happen where Toney comes in. But you never know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of drastic things have been happening
Absolutely
at Spurs
right.
over the last year that you probably would have said, I can't see that happening.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
And last but not least, L'Equipe are reporting that Eric Dier has suffered a muscular injury in training and now will miss Monaco's Champions League fixture against Tottenham Hotspur next week, which... On one hand, it's a shame not to see him and to have that kind of moment. However, on the other hand, I was thinking last week that this guy is going to absolutely have a stormer against us and probably going to score. We saw him, the way he played against Man City a couple of weeks ago and scored the equaliser from the penalty spot. And even, I think he won the penalty as well.
Yeah, high foot, wasn't it?
So
he was got some tips from Kane on taking penalties. And he obviously scored one against Colombia as well.
Yeah, no, he's a good penalty taker. He's a good set-piece taker in general.
He's always had a good strike on the ball.
So, yeah, on one hand, I'm kind of happy about it. Not happy that he's got an injury, but happy that he's going to miss the game. But on another hand, I kind of would have liked that moment.
We've been denied a worldie, I think. He's going to have the best game. Do you think his stock has risen massively since leaving Spurs? We were so happy to get rid of him, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then he actually did quite well at Bayern. Tuchel was starting him a lot. They got to the Champions League semi-final, and he was brilliant in that run. Obviously, he's now gone to Monaco, where he's playing really well at the moment. They seem to really like him there. So, look, any chance between now and the World Cup, he puts himself in the frame with Tuchel, his former manager.
I don't know. I mean, you're looking at centre-backs that England have got. Not too many, to be honest, but you've got Gehi, Konsa, Stones, Maguire to a certain extent. Who else is there?
Gehi, Maguire, Stones, Joe Gomez.
Yeah, so there's not actually that many. So
and he's got experience, that experience, and Tuchel knows him well.
He hasn't called him up yet, though.
No, he hasn't called him up.
And I think it's probably quite telling that he hasn't called him up because there's been opportunities to do so, and he hasn't been favoured, and he's been playing well, particularly at Bayern Munich. So if he had him in his thinking, I think he probably would have called him up by now.
Well, he's only just joined Monaco last season as well with Company. He was a bit out of favour, wasn't he? So maybe if he keeps playing well with Monaco, maybe. You never know. Never say never. Do you reckon, I was thinking about this the other day, with how it ended at Tottenham, he said he wanted his ashes spread across the Tottenham Stadium. With how it ended, how he was kind of pushed out, do you reckon he still does?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think
he's still, Tottenham's still
I don't think he would feel
in his heart.
I don't think he would feel bitter about the way it ended at Spurs. I think players know that's just part and parcel of the game. He still spent, a large chunk of his career at Tottenham, had some great times at Tottenham, and I think he holds Tottenham very close to his heart.
But he said when he left, he felt like, with how it ended, he had a point to prove and stuff. He felt he was like shunted out of it.
But I think all players will feel like that, when leaving. But I don't think it kind of sours the good memories that he had at Tottenham. I think a lot of players, this does happen to a lot of players, and I don't think it might feel sour initially, but then when it's all said and done and you look back on things, I think he'll only look back at his time at Tottenham positively. But look, that is your Tottenham update. Let us know in the comments section below your thoughts regarding all the updates today. I just saw